You know, I don't accept that. YouTube goes further than any of them, and it's just people don't want the message that I'm bringing to be heard. So, as the Holy Quran, it refers to me as benignant. Benignant means harmless. Well, that goes along with what the Bible says. The Son of Man came not to destroy men's lives. If I didn't come to destroy anyone, then I'm harmless. Do you understand? So, I'm here to save the lives of my family. I'm a member of the human family of the planet Earth. The messenger taught me that civilize means to teach the knowledge and wisdom of the human family of the planet Earth. Do you understand? Do you know any beings walking around on the earth that are not human beings? Name one. Even when Satan came to present himself before the Lord didn't tell him, get out of my face. He spoke to Satan as if he knew something that Satan was supposed to be doing. When Satan said, I've been going to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down in it, the Lord didn't say, what you been doing? He asked him a question. He said, have you considered my servant Job over here? That he is a perfect and an upright man that fears God and escheweth or forbiddeth evil. And Satan answered the Lord and said, yeah, does Job fear God for naught? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands. Thou hast made a hedge about, protected him and his house. I guess he do love you. And the Lord said, after Satan told him, he said, take it from him and he'll cuss you to your face. And the Lord said, I tell you what, all that he have is in your power. He says, save his life. He said, don't you kill him. And so Satan went forth and began to afflict Job. And when he put everything he had on Job, and Job didn't renege and did not sin with his mouth against God, that was the Lord's way of showing Satan, see, I told you, he's a perfect and upright man. Do you understand? And so, it's just like these white people. They tried to put on us their mentality. See, it's kind of like, he thought that if we had did him like he did us, he would just want some revenge. But unlike him, when we found out that it was God's plan and God's will that this happened, I'm not after no revenge. It was God's will. So, it was done. Thy will be done. That's all. And only thing gonna happen to him now is that, He can't even accuse me of hating him, because I don't. I don't hate white people. I hate what white people are yet trying to do. And that's what they're going to be punished for. Not for what they have done, but what they're trying to continue to do. They was told to stop in my time. Some of them have decided that they don't need to stop. Well, since he don't think he needs to stop, it's just like when you out there on the highway. You run red lights, you're supposed to stop when you hit to a red light. Well, what about people who don't think they need to stop? That's why they got officers out there to stop you. The forces of nature have been ordered to fight on my side to put a stop to you. Why you think ain't nobody coming in here telling me don't nothing happen to them when I throw them in hell? The very air that you breathe is a creature. The iron that's in your body is a creature. Potassium, all of those creatures that's inside of you and that compose you, they are creatures. And they obey the Creator who put them in these different forms. You know why the worms that's in a pig are in there? That's why he's able to eat all of them poisons and all of that stuff, and he just keeps living, because the worms, he's almost just a walking pus bag, just a walking sewer. You know, like you have in the sewers out there. And you call him and say, "Suey, Suey." He come in there, he'll come running. Why? Because that's what he is. Then you go and eat him, and Allah was causing them worms that's in him to die when they get inside of you as a respite. You know what respite is? It don't mean that you got away with something. It means that the punishment for that thing has been delayed. Do you understand? Of the swine, though it divideth the hoof, yet it cheweth not the cud. It is unclean to you. You shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. Huh? Okay. Now, this is the day where your worms are not going to die. Remember Jesus said, their worm dieth not? Yeah. Even on the level of that, that's letting you know that the harmful effects. I remember the messenger said there's enough poison in 1 square inch of pig to kill you. So I'm telling all of you, this ain't no day to be disobeying Allah's laws that he gave us through his prophets. Remember, Jesus said, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. For I came not to destroy the law, but to fulfill." Huh? Okay. To fully fill it up. I mean, you really don't understand. And that's why you wasn't being held accountable. And if I had not come and spoken unto you, you still wouldn't be accountable. But Allah didn't just say, go speak to you. He said, son of man, go. Get thee over there to the house of Israel and speak unto them. He's angry. Whenever my daddy told me, get over there and tell so-and-so something, he was mad. And I got myself on over there and I stepped lively. Because I didn't want him to be mad at me. And So I'm warning you. I'm a sanctuary for everybody who accepts the truth and follow me. I'm your place of safety. As the messenger said, there will be two places of safety. He said, there's one with your Lord and my Lord. And that's the truth. With me and the holy angels. Yes. So now let me let you hear the messenger so I can I think I laid a good enough foundation. So let's see here.
The consequence for making it for us. We want to thank the Chicago white people for making it possible for us to obtain the country club, for making it possible for us to get in such position where we can prove ourselves worthy of that position. Yes, sir. We thank them. They have did us a great favor. Yes, sir. I don't think that we have nothing to do but to honor and thank them for putting us in such position. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Apostle. This is their house. And we're here teaching the truth. Yes, sir. That's right. They're not objecting to you teaching the truth. As we have white Muslims in America. And lots of them. We have them all over the world. Yes, sir. And they recognize and respect you. That's right. Go ahead. You must recognize and respect them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead. You don't disrespect people that is trying to respect you. Yes, sir.
It's very important that I ask this question. White people that's listening to me, do you think I have been disrespectful to you? And if so, tell me, how did I disrespect you? No, y'all hear this, right? Okay. Remember, I teach that the white man is the devil. If it's not disrespectful for me to do it now, it was never disrespectful. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad first started teaching, was he being disrespectful? The truth is now here. I'm verifying the truth that the messengers of God brought to you. Allah raised me to verify it. As He said, I'm going to create a mortal by means of sounding clay, by means of my messengers. So when I have made him complete and breathed into him of my spirit, fall down, making obeisance to him. So the angels made obeisance, all the holy angels together. But Iblis did it not. And he was proud. He was not with those who made obeisance. So, remember now, I gave you an opportunity to come in here and make $50,000 and at the same time offer a reason why you don't follow me and why a justifiable reason why you don't follow and submit to me and why other people should not do it either. I don't hear nobody else offering you that kind of opportunity to come and tell people why they shouldn't submit to them and follow them. Huh? Okay, now you listen to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I got some things that I'm going to share with you today, but I first want you to hear him lay the foundation for it.
The last time that I was out to the airport, they let me and my followers get on first. Now remember, their flag is still flying over America. Yes, sir. Honor and respect the man. Yes, sir. Because he still has his flag. There's much that can be interchanged between them and us. In that way of respect. Yes, sir. We don't have to get up to try to make fun of them just because you have ruined yourself. And now you have ruined them. Yes,
sir. Did you hear that? He said, you don't have to try to get up and make fun of them just because you have learned yourself and you have learned them. He said, just remember, they show you respect after you have learned yourself. After you done learned who you are and what you supposed to be doing and how you supposed to be acting. And I bear witness, everywhere I go, being a Muslim, and acting like I'm supposed to act as a Muslim, I get respect. And any of you who following me have to bear me witness that you get respect too. Huh? how can you expect them to respect you when Job wasn't going to get no respect from the devil if he had a cursed God? Even the devil had sense enough not to curse God. I didn't hear you. If he could get Job so upset that he would decide that he would curse God, then the devil would have said, see, I told you. And this is what you want to put up? You want to take me down to put him up there? I ain't never cursed you. Do you understand? So that's what it was all about. You cannot replace a ruler with one lesser than him, except your righteousness exceed that of the scribes and Pharisees. You shall not inherit the kingdom. You shall not enter into the kingdom. If your righteousness ain't even equal to that of the devil, how in the world are you going to replace him as a ruler? This man built up a country with a false name on true religion. Remember, those nearest in faith, nearest in friendship to the prophets. Remember Jesus said, you are my friend? If you keep my commandments, if you do whatsoever I command you. The Holy Quran said those nearest in friendship to the believers are those who say we are Christian. I witnessed people going into a Sikh temple. I saw it on the news. They went in there and shot it up. And police officers from the United States went to protect those people at that place and wound up killing the shooter. And protected those people's rights to worship a religion that they did not believe in. That the officer, he wasn't no Sikh. He was a Christian. What is it, son? Yes.
May Allah
salam.
Sir, I have a question. This is concerning the part that you're teaching on the in Quran, chapter 15, verse 28. When you speak to the Muslims, they're saying because they put this Adam, they put in Adam in this verse. So when I'm telling people you are the Son of Man and you are this person that Allah is speaking about, they put Adam and then they put it in brackets. So they put their interpretation of that explanation. So it's difficult for Muslims even to pass that stage to see you, my brother.
Well, you have to remember something. I've given all of these people who've been call themselves interpreting the scriptures, everybody who's been misled by them heard me call them out. At least they could hear me calling them out and telling them to come in here and show me and the people why they don't submit to me and why the people should not. And none of them show up in here. There's your proof that they know that they have no argument against me, and there's your proof that I am the Mahdi. If I was not the one who is rightly guided, then people could argue with me. But once the rightly guided one shows up, There is no argument. That's why the Holy Quran says Allah sent me with the guidance. Well, if he sent me with the guidance, then I'm the rightly guided one. And as he said, Allah sent, he it is that sent his messenger with the guidance and the religion of truth, that he may make it prevail over the religions, all of them, though the polytheists may be averse. Now, if I have to make the religion that Allah have given me prevail over all other religions, then all other religions are a lie. So, like I told all of y'all, you who following me, don't try to argue with nobody. What you do is you give them the number to the conference room and tell them to come on in here and argue with the Mahdi. So, all right. So now, let's get back to this. What is it? Okay.
That's right, Apostle. Just remember, yes, sir, that they show you respect after you have ruined yourself. Yes, sir, Apostle. Show them respect too. Yes, sir. Because when you didn't know yourself, you didn't respect yourself, nor anyone else. That's right. We used to disgrace ourselves and them too. That's right. Because we didn't know ourselves. Yes, sir. But now we respect ourselves and we respect them. Yes, sir. Praise be God. Yes, sir. You go out there disrespecting the honor of this land. They are alone as long as they're in power. Yes, sir. I think you will be showing disrespect for the honor that has been conferred on you. Yes, sir. And me by God. Yes, sir. Thank you, dear Holy Father. Yes, respect everybody. Everybody will respect you. Right. Right. Thank you. If God give way to them to rule, then you honor the ruler. Mm-hmm. That's right. As long as they're in power to rule them, then respect them. Yes, sir. This I mean from my heart. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everywhere we go, respect people, and people will respect you. Yes, sir. Yes, that's right. Don't think that you are so great now just because God promised you the kingdom. Mm-hmm. Wait until you get in it. Yes, sir. You must remember that a ruler being dishonored and dishonoring people, he is dishonoring himself. Yes, sir. My dear brothers and sisters, God has how many vistas. He don't mean for us to waste our time looking to see who can we make mark of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Looking and trying to show people that if you would mark disrespect, that God did not raise us up to repeat the same.
Yes, sir.
We must show the world that we are a righteous people trying to sit up.
Yes, sir.
A characteristic in our people.
Yes, sir.
Of righteousness.
Yes, sir. Thank you, dear Father. Yes, sir.
We don't want our people acting unrighteous.
Right. That's right.
Regardless to who acts unrighteous by us, we must not do so ourselves, since we represent ourselves as being righteous people.
Right.
We be righteous.
Yes, sir. That's right.
If we said, there goes the devil, then don't try and practice after him. If you say you are righteous, show the devil that you are righteous.
Right.
Because he's watching you for certain. Since you said now you are righteous, then prove it.
Yes, sir. That's right. That's right.
And if you say he's not righteous, he will say he will love his maker.
That's right.
That's right. That'll stop your mouth.
Yes, sir.
He did not make himself.
Go ahead, Apostle.
It was our kind that made him.
Right.
So if you want to make mark of that which you have made, it's easy to tell you that I am not responsible for my making. You made me yourself.
Yes, sir.
Your kind. Let us remember these words.
Thank you, dear Holy Apostle.
There's lots that we must learn to do.
Yes, sir.
To show to the world who we are. We are not raised up to sit around and make marks of people. No. We are raised up to show the world what righteousness looks like.
Yes, sir.
And how it feels to be righteous.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, dear Apostle.
There's a man of his past and putting him on the right road. This is a wonderful thing.
Yes, sir.
He said to Israel, I am your God. Israel said, I bear witness.
Yes, sir. Right.
He says to you and I, remember my faith that I bestowed upon you.
Yes, sir.
Take a lesson from me. That if I bestow upon you those great blessings, what do you think I'm going to do for you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, if bless Israel to bring her out of the bondage of power, what do you think I'm going to do for you? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now remember, it is written. Just a moment. I want to make sure that you hear me. This thing done jumped off the. Well, it didn't jump off. Well, ain't no sense in telling other than the truth. It didn't jump off by itself. I must have unscrewed it. But so you should always listen to yourself when you're talking and make sure you ain't saying something that ain't true. You understand? So, I'm going to, but I want you to know that, as he said, God said to Israel, and let's back that up and say it again.
That I bestowed upon you. Yes, sir. Take a lesson from me. That if I bestow upon you those great blessings, what do you think I'm going to do for you? Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Go ahead, if bless Israel to bring her out of the bondage of power, what do you think I'm going to do for you? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Take it on. Yes, sir. Take your time. Yes, sir. Israel in the way of wilderness, and I found you in the way of and you are my own. That's right.
Now remember, it's written, yeah, you are my own, and it's written, he came unto his own, and his own received him not. Huh? And where's my own located? Right here in North America. And it's written, the same you are told, remember my favor which I bestowed upon Israel. Take a lesson from me. That if I bestowed those great blessings upon Israel, what you think I'm going to do for you? I found Israel in the waste howling wilderness, and I found you in the waste howling wilderness, and you are my own. So if God hath said, and he has said, that we belongs to him, then all praise is due to Allah. Look what it says here in Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter, and the 6th verse. I'm going to start at the 5th verse. It says, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, saith the Mahdi, that I will raise up David, meaning beloved, a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper. That's what princes grow into. They become kings. It says, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. he hath given him authority also to execute judgment, because he is the Son of Man. I didn't hear you. Okay, let's go a little further. In his days, in his days, you shall desire to see one of the days of the Son of Man, and you shall not see it. That's what Jesus told his Bible. But as the lightning comes out of the east and shineth, even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. But as it was in the days of Noah, as they did eat, they drank, they married, they were given in marriage, they planted and they built, until the day that Noah entered into the ark and the flood came and destroyed them all. Look at the flood of propaganda and false knowledge that is destroying the minds of what you used to think was intelligent people. Huh? Right after the Son of Man entered into the Ark of the Covenant and took all of those that submitted with him. You see, I'm taking everybody into the Ark of the Covenant. But everybody can't come in. The flood is destroying them. The flood of propaganda, the flood of lies, the flood of deceit. So it says, in his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby he shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. The Lord, what is the Holy Scriptures? It is instruction in righteousness. And I am the instruction in righteousness. In flesh. He's clothed with a vesture that hath to stay dipped in blood. And his name is called the Word of God, the Lord our righteousness. Then it says, therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought them up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, out of North America. And from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. Like I told you, I don't need America or the United States to perish in order for us to live. It is not your Heavenly Father's will that anyone should perish, but that all should come to repentance. I got a question for you. Has God ever had to repent? I didn't hear you. It's all right to say you don't know. What'd you say? Well, if it repented God that he made man on the earth, he must have been sorry he did it. So I have to teach on these things. So, in order for me to teach on these kind of things, I have to be willing to put myself in other people's shoes. I come to the understanding that I needed to come to in order to be a just judge. Let me know when we're back up. Okay. You all that's on YouTube, you ain't missed nothing. See, I don't talk fast. You know, you listening to a teacher now. You're not listening to just a preacher. I'm a teacher. I go slow. That's why hours pass by and you think only a few minutes pass by. Because while I'm talking, you are thinking. You're not looking at no clock. You are thinking. And as you are thinking, you are reasoning. And as you reason with me, the more you reason with me, the more you agree with me. You see? That's the way the truth is. The truth forces us into agreement. We have no way to disagree. It's just like if you and I walk outside right now, and for instance, if it was dark in here, if we turned all of the lights off, and it was dark in here, and we couldn't see out of the windows, someone could say, well, it's daylight outside. And we look at the room being dark, we might say no. We might be tricked into thinking that it's not. But we walk out that front door. That ends any discussion. That's how you know that what I'm giving you is light. There ain't nobody arguing with me. End of discussion. It's too plain. Do you understand? So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he goes on after he talks about. You remember, he said that if you say you are righteous, prove it, huh? And if you say he's not righteous, he will say, I was not my maker. He said, and that'll stop your mouth. Well, it stopped my mouth. It might not stop none of these other people's mouths. But he wasn't talking to them. It wasn't even, his message was for me. And he was showing me that, hey, you can't follow the ignorant. He said, you pay attention to me. That's what he was telling me. He said, if I have 40 million helpers, he said, I'm the only one that Allah will hold responsible, son of man, for you not getting the truth. He said, you pay attention to me. Don't pay attention to all of these that's out here in my name teaching what they think. That's why he came out and showed me some of them that's out there teaching stuff that claiming he was the author of it when he wasn't. He said, we're going to make a habit of coming out condemning these people. They show you that they are not backed up by me. That's what he said. We're not backing them up and telling other than the truth. No. So I've learned to listen to if you say you following a man, he said, if you are my followers, then seek the way, seek the understanding through me. That's what he said. He didn't say nothing about no Farrakhan. Farrakhan lost his way. How in the world he gonna guide me and he got lost? Am I lost? When I go into the Holy Scriptures, I'm like a fish in water. I don't get lost. I get life. Man shall not live by bread alone, But man will get his life by every word that proceeded from the mouth of God. And if I wasn't man, I wouldn't be able to get the life from the word of God. And I'm giving you life. So.
If God said, and He has said, that we belong to Him. Oh, praise Him. He called Israel his son.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
He said, out of Egypt,
Yes, sir.
I call my son.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I said to Israel that if they obey me, I will lead them in a land that I will give to them.
Yes, sir.
On the condition that they believe. Right. And obey. Yes, sir. But they didn't obey. No. So his promise can't be fulfilled because that you don't give me a chance. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, dear Apostle.
I want to fulfill my promise, Israel, but you won't let me fulfill it.
Yes, sir.
Who brought you in this place, Israel? Yes, sir. Preach. Who fed you, Israel?
Yes, sir.
Where there was no bread. Yes, sir.
Take your time, dear Holy Apostle.
I only wanted to show it to you, Israel, that I'm God. Right. So the same thing, brothers and sisters, have come to us. Yes, sir. I want to show you, oh, my lost and found, that He that found you in me, yes, sir, is God. Yes. He owns us. And He wants to do for you that which will stand forever. Yes, sir.
Now remember, it's written in Isaiah that the messengers of God were saying unto us, this is the 9th chapter and the 6th verse. Remember, the Holy Quran says those whom we have given the book, the prophets is the one God gave the book to. Said they recognize him as they recognize their son. So if Allah gave them the book, Allah gave them a son. And so it's written in Isaiah, it says, for unto us a child is born, one who humbled himself as a child to the prophets. It says, a child is born. That which is born of the Spirit is spirit. And it says, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. The understanding shall be upon him, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor. The word of God is the most wonderful counselor you can get. Wonderful Counselor, the mighty God, the everlasting Father, He wants to do for you that which will stand forever. The everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end. Now, let's go back and hear the messenger say that again.
He owns us. And he wants to do for you that which will stand forever. Yes, sir. The earth belongs to you. Yes, sir. It didn't belong to you. But now you're the true owner. Thank you. Yes, sir. Here's what's taking it away from you. Right. Come on. I want to give it back to you. Yes, sir. They're lost and found. Been lost from his brethren for a long time. Now he's found. And we must bring him again. Sit him down in the midst of his brethren. Yes, sir. And tell him, this is your home. Yes, sir. So today, you are on your way to become the owner and the ruler of the earth. Yes, sir.
Now remember, he said that back in 74. Beg your pardon? Okay. You heard him say this back in 1974. That's why he told me, he said, you on your way to become the owner and the ruler of the earth. Because I was a baby in my understanding. I was the little prince. Do you understand? Had not yet become king because I had to grow up in the knowledge and understanding of the Holy Scriptures. I had a lot of growing to do. So he said, you're on your way to become the owner and the ruler of the earth. And then he said, once you lay hold to that handle, that name, that won't break off with you, you must keep it. As the Holy Bible put it in the book of Revelation, because it agrees. They all said the same thing. Hold that fast which thou hast. Hold it means hold on to that handle that won't break off with you. This is in Revelation, around the 2nd chapter, I think it is. Let me see here. It might be the 3rd chapter. Where it says, hold that fast which thou hast. It's so much that I have in here, sometime I forget. It's the 11th verse of the 3rd chapter. What? What did you say? Yes, that's it. It says, behold, it's the 11th verse. It says, behold, I come quickly. Light travels quickly. Light travels at 186,000 miles per second. Thought travels at the same speed. It says, behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take your crown. Huh? You see how WD came and took the light away from them who didn't hold fast to the messenger's teaching? Huh? Well, that was prophesied. It's just like in the beginning of life for a human being. Many run, but only one get the prize. And when that one gets the prize, the others all die. And they are absorbed into the body of the woman. You understand? You see how the Nation of Islam, all of the members who was there when the messenger was here, most of them got absorbed back into the body of the world. Do you understand? Yeah. But the baby, you know, the world is still pregnant with the child, with the baby nation. They seeing that now. How you know they seeing that? I'm on the World Wide Web talking to the rest of the world and declaring myself to be the Mahdi, and nobody saying a word. I mean, you can't call me a cult leader because I'm speaking what I'm speaking right out in the open in front of everybody. And none of the religious people are opening their mouth. You know why they're not opening their mouth? Because I shut their mouths with truth. You know, once martial artists got experience with Bruce Lee, they left him alone. I didn't hear you. You know? I mean, it's just like with Muhammad Ali. They had to take his championship by putting him in jail. They didn't have nobody that could whoop him. So they took his championship from him by putting him in jail. And then he came out of jail and started whooping people again. After they took it from him for 3 years, man. That's a lifetime to a boxer. But now look what's done happened. If I was not the Son of Man, then how come you can't produce no star? There's plenty of stars out there. I mean, ain't no star got no claim to fame on being the brightest and all of that kind of thing. Because it's still dark when they shining. I didn't hear you. Well, it ain't dark when I'm shining. I didn't hear you. The sun don't shine in darkness. The sun shines in light. You have to look into the scriptures when you in my presence to see me. And as you look into the scriptures, and the scriptures bear me witness, then all you can do is shut up. Like they doing. See, they just shut up. There's your proof of who I am. Now let's go back to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
You lay hold to that hand that will not break off with. You must keep it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, dear Father.
You don't have to worry about the people coming to you.
Yes, sir.
They all will come to you.
Yes, sir.
As the Bible teaches you. Look and see.
Yes, sir.
They all come to thee.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A very beautiful people
Yes, sir.
that have been marked henceforth.
Yes, sir, dear Father.
But as you come into Islam, Allah will gradually restore your duty of parents.
Yes, sir. That's right. Yes, sir.
You will become a beautiful nation.
Yes, sir.
There's never been.
I remember my daddy used to say, he said, God don't like ugly. And, you know, my daddy wasn't real educated. And so I thought he was mishandling the language. Come to find out, he knew more about the language than I did, you know, than most people, because he called wickedness ugly. As the messenger said, you will become a beautiful nation as never before lived on the earth. And if he don't like any ugly part about you, he say he will cause you to grow into a new growth. A new growth is a new understanding. You hear people quoting, as they say, the good book. That's what they call the Bible, the good book. And they will say, do unto others as you'd have others do unto you. They say that, but they generally talking to somebody else. They ain't talking to themselves. They see somebody doing them wrong and they speak up, they holler. But they don't remind themselves to do unto others as they would have others do unto them. We only see it one-sided. Well, what is not said is that you should do unto others as you would like if you was in their position to be done unto you. Do you understand? That when you apply that like it's supposed to be applied, it requires empathy. It requires you to look at things through the other person's eyes and put yourself in their position. And then you would be just. If, for instance, if you are an employer and you put yourself in the position of your employee, you would give them a just salary. Because would you be willing to work for what, if your roles were reversed? Wouldn't you like to make enough so that when you got off work you could go home and spend time with your family instead of go to another job because you ain't making enough on that job to support your family? Huh? But you see, the one that you working for, he living large. You know why you who live in large are living so large that you are? It's not that I don't want you to live good. It's just that you take more than is due. You take more than is required. Instead of letting your workers share in the prophets. They do the work, and you keep all of the prophets, and you give them as little as you can. Is that how you would like to be treated? No, that's not how you would like to be treated, but you refuse to put yourself in their position. So you refuse to do unto others as you would have others do unto you, if your roles were reversed. Likewise, you who go to a man's job, and any chance you get, you sit down if ain't nobody watching. You don't produce what you were hired to produce, and you are actually doing to him what, if it was your company, you wouldn't want your employees drawing checks for work that they ain't doing, for substandard work. Huh? Everybody should treat others as they would like to be treated. And we all guilty of not following that. Which means we all need to repent and correct ourselves. Do you understand?
Lived on the earth. Yes, sir. If you don't like any ugly part about you, he said he will cause you to grow into a new growth. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The way that I cause you to grow into a new growth is I give you new understanding. And as you get new understanding, then it makes you look at things differently, and you begin to change the way you conduct yourself from an ugly way to a beautiful way. For Allah's guidance guides us into beauty. When people look at your deeds and your actions, they can't find no fault in you. Do you understand? So praise be to Allah.
What must be done? We have God with us. We have him as our guide. Yes, sir. We don't have to stand around here and ask the question, what must be done? Yes, sir. Get up and let's go and do something. Yes, sir. We're trying to do something with whatever the white folks will let us have. We're trying to do something with it to make them feel that they didn't give it over to a bunch of lazy fellows that want to sit down and turn our face back to them, begging them to carry us right on. When you have been given a chance to go for something.
When we wait on white people or any other people to make a job for us, it's the same as begging them to carry us. You look at the Japanese. They are industrious people. They got a plant right there in Canton to produce automobiles. I tried to get you to, I know some of you work in bicycle factory, tried to get you to come to me and tell me that you ready to set up a bicycle factory that I would help finance and get it set up, even was going to give you the bicycle to produce. You wouldn't even come do it. When somebody was talking to me about it and found out I was serious, they just gradually faded out. This is lazy. That's lazy, man. Just like now, we need someone who knows how to run a dry cleaners. We got a town here, Fayette, don't have a dry cleaners in there. We can put a dry cleaners there if someone would step up and say they know how to run one and operate one. We'll help you get it open, and we will be your customers and whatnot, and we will help you to make money, and you can hire people to work in there, or teach people how to work in there. You take my number down. My number is 601-786-1332. 601-786-1332. If you out of state, still give me a call, and we'll see about getting you set up here to open up dry cleaners. We have needs in the black community that we need to start supplying our own needs instead of over there up in white people's face by my begging them to give us something. You ain't getting no respect begging people. Look how he gets what he need to get. He take tax money from you and take tax money from everybody, and he put stuff in there for himself. Well, we must tax ourselves. Give me my tithes and offerings, and I will give you what you need. That's what governments do. They supply the people with the financial base to make more money. When you don't give taxes to make less money. You give taxes so the government can fix it where you can make more. The government even purchases goods and services from businesses. They do business with businesses to keep the money circulating. You look at all of them. You remember the what we call free shots for the pandemic. Them shots may have been free to you, wasn't free to the government that supplied them. The government paid them companies for them vaccines with your tax dollars, looking out for you. Give credit to where it belongs and stop trying to say that the government don't do nothing for you. Your highways, your bridges, your infrastructure, that's all tax money at work. When you're not willing to give justice, how can you receive it? It's like people who think they can go around disrespecting people, but somehow they can be respected. You ever tried to go to the bank and draw money out that you ain't have in there? You write a check, and you don't give them nothing about you having a checkbook. If ain't no money in the bank, you can write all the checks you want. There ain't nobody gonna cash it because ain't nothing in there to cover it. So, just listen to the messenger. We sitting up here begging. We don't want no begging. Let's get up and do for ourselves.
Down and turn our face back to them, begging them to carry us right on. When you have been given a chance to go for self, go for self. Yes, sir. That the black man of North America have nobody to blame but himself. If he respects himself and do for himself, his once slave master will come and respect him and help him to do something for self. You cannot say that they don't help you to do something for self. They're helping us to go for ourselves. Right. Who would want to help an old horse that don't want to do anything but lay down in the lot? Right. That's right. Why discuss? Really discuss. Rouse him up and tell him to get up. You can't pull the tractor, pull the plow. Yes, sir. I don't believe in us. Now, in this modern time, laying down on the white man looking for him to give us something to go away. Give you something when he give you freedom. That's all you wanted. To be free to do something for self. Well, you got that. Don't now lay down around his doorstep asking him to help you. Go help yourself. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, that's right. He takes the shackles off from you and said, now you're free. Go for yourself. Why should you still lay there to his gate? Give me nothing. That's the truth. What are you going to give you now? After he let you go, free to get for yourself. You don't need to blame him now.
I say to our wealthy black people in this country, and there are lots of you, sports figures, entertainers in the music field, entertainers in the field of television and whatnot. Some of you are even billionaires. I don't need to ask white people to give me nothing or to help me do nothing. If you would step up, y'all get together. Y'all get together for them awards and stuff that you give each other and that kind of thing. Get together and call me to your meeting. You ain't got to come to me. I'll come to you. There's an old saying, if the mountain won't go to Muhammad, Muhammad will go to the mountain. I'm not too proud to go and lay out plans to you that I would like to do to help our people. And then I would be glad to take you on a tour to what I have been doing with the pennies that I do have. It's not like I'm waiting on somebody to give us something. give me something before I can go and start doing something for my people, I'll let you come and visit with us. And we can take you on a tour to show you that we ain't just talking. I'm not out here trying to beg you or trick you into giving me something so I can go buy me $1 million or $5 million house or whatever. I ain't interested in no house. I'm interested in a nation. And I promise you, I won't go out there. I ain't got to go out here and tell everybody what you doing to help me or whatever. White folks don't tell everybody what they doing to help their people. Because some people don't like it. I don't care what you do. I don't tell nobody what white people doing to help me. It's white people that have helped me. And I'm not going to be out here naming them and all that kind of stuff just so they can get some crazy fool calling them up, call itself getting on them by helping me. You know, you got to learn to keep your mouth shut. You know, so I want to give you the opportunity to show where your heart is. If you help me, then Allah will bless you. I'm a means by which you can get the blessings of Allah. If you don't help me, pretty soon I ain't gonna need your help. Now, I'm just telling you now. And when you come back later, when I don't need it, I'm gonna tell you, just go on back. I don't need you now. There was a time I couldn't have stood up here and told you I'll give you $50,000 if you can prove I'm wrong. You notice I told you that now. So I'm not here to beg you for anything, and I'm not a fool with what I have either. So
blame yourself. The earth is Lord.
Yes, sir.
And that there's enough of it for you to have some and for them to have some.
Yes, sir.
God wants to continue to help them to live on this earth. You get that part that He gives you. And don't be worried over here. Take that which God gives you, and that'll go to war with no man for that of his own. No, you don't fight nobody over what is there. Just get yours and keep yours. Yes, sir. And let Him keep his. If God give it to him, that's him and God.
Yes, sir.
God just give me something.
Yes, sir.
Now God has given you something.
Yes, sir.
Let us do the best we can with what He has given to us.
Yes, sir.
Take somebody's property, take nothing. Just take that which God has given to you and make something out of it.
Yes, sir.
You take nothing. You go to war with no man. No. No, you go to war with yourself.
Yes, sir.
that is the greatest war that we can fight. It's the war that we fight within ourselves to overcome our own evil. And any of you that have not recognized that you have evil inside of you, you can't even begin You not even in the world. You have been overcome. Because you have deceived yourself into thinking that you are better than you really are. One of the things that make you able to be merciful and forgiving to other people is recognizing your own character flaws and recognizing the evil that's in yourself that people may not know, people may not see your evil, but you see it. And if you don't, you are a fool. If there was anyone good in this world, then the scriptures would have been a lie. The scripture says there is none righteous. No, not one. Well, Jesus said, why are you calling me good? There ain't none good but one, and that's God. You don't care. You just bowl right over that. I don't. And if I was all good, Allah wouldn't have told me how to save myself. He said, give them one, and in so doing, you deliver yourself. Deliver myself from what? From being punished for my evil. So, but Allah, He knew that I would be afflicted with the stuff you're afflicted with after He perfected me. And He also gave me understanding enough to argue with people who try to condemn me. That I wouldn't have been afflicted if I hadn't been back here trying to save you. Because I know what perfection is. I know what perfect peace is. I've had it. Fooling around here with you is perfection and imperfection can't live with each other. You think somebody perfect could put up with you? Tell you what, if you put on a tuxedo, a nice, pretty white tuxedo, and somebody asks you to go do some plumbing up under their house, what will you tell them? Hey man, you see how I'm dressed here? You think I'm going to crawl up under your house? You must be out of your... Who brought you in here? that's the first thing you be what? What in the world you doing in here? Get out of my face. Right? Of course, now if he got on coveralls and old boots and stuff, and you tell him you need some plumbing done, he say, yeah, I'll go up under there. What you need? Huh? Why? Because he's dressed for the part. So Allah let me experience perfection and then gave me the choice. You can stay here or you can go back and try to help them. Of course, it wasn't that cut and dry. I only came up with the understanding of when I made my choice was when I was walking with this sister that was walking with me. Her name was Nadine. And she and I had been talking, and I thought that one day we would be married. But when I had that experience, that vision, she was with me, and we was walking down the street, and I was looking at people walking around, couldn't blink their eyes, and that kind of thing, and I say, what's wrong with them? And she said, them is your brothers and sisters who rejected Islam. And I felt sorry for them. And she said, "What? You going back with him?" I say, "If that's where I belong." And then everything, that was when I made my choice. A Muslim is not a Muslim unless he loves for his brothers and sisters what he loves for himself. So you love salvation, but you don't love it for your people? That's not the kind of man Allah choose for his representative. Jonah, for a minute, wasn't concerned about Nineveh until Allah gave him a lesson. Then he understood. You understand? So, if all you see in people is their evil, then have you thought about that maybe it's because you have an evil eye yourself? But that's all you actually look for? Generally, when you think the worst of people, you will do something to bring it out. Because that's what you expect. So you figure out a way to get what you expect. Even if it's on a subconscious level. Even in the way you greet them. Do you understand? Most people treat people like they expect people to act. I treat people like I want to be treated. That's what Allah said do. And I found that generally if you treat people like you want to be treated, even your enemy will be as though he is a warm friend. Even Dirty Harry, he gave him a chance. He said, "Make my day. If that's what you want to do. You want to do something to justify what I'm going to shoot you, well, you go ahead." He said, but he didn't always have to shoot nobody. Because sometimes people had sense enough to submit. Huh? Act like you got some sense, you'll be treated like you got some sense. Act a fool, and you'll be treated like a fool. You'll be hastening to the correction of the stocks. I didn't hear you. All right.
Trying to rob people out of their arms, that's wrong. Yes, sir. The word is too large. Yes, sir. Well, he's taking it from me. Well, that you let him do it. I don't blame him if he's going to let me take it. Well, that's okay. Yes, sir.
Took me a while. Took me a while to understand what the messenger meant by that. Said, well, you let him take it. You let him do it. Well, if you're going to let me take it, then that's all right. Let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them take dominion over the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea. So if you're going to let me do it, then that's okay. God let him take it. Do you understand? He told him to subdue it and have dominion over it. So if you mad about something, well, you had good reason to be mad when you didn't know what was going on. But once you found out that it was God's will, what are you mad about? And who you mad at? That's why in that song, Sympathy for the Devil, in the last part of it, he said, you're to blame. You're to blame. Who was he talking to? He was talking to his maker. What are you blaming me for? You made me this way. That's what he said. So it's much to be understood. So just wait.
To you, my beloved brothers and sisters, Allah has loosed us. All we have to do to go to work and try and make the best out of what He has given to us. Yes, sir. And stop looking at other people's property, looking for them to give you theirs. You don't take nothing. No, well, he's taking it from me and he's taking it from my brother. Well, if he's taking it from the Indian, let the Indian fight for his own.
The reason he said that to us is because we love to put up smoke screens. How can you be claimed to be so worried about what happened to the Native American and you ain't got nothing yourself? It's not that we don't love the Native American. It's just that it looks like hypocrisy on our part to walk around here talking about what everybody else ain't got and what was done to other folks when we got 40 million of us here that don't own 1 square inch of nothing, don't produce nothing for ourselves. And then we act like we worried about what's happening with someone else. You know how people can tell your sincerity about what you feel about them? All they have to do is look at how you feel about your own people, your own community. What I look like telling somebody that I got something better to offer them and they look at my followers and my followers ain't got nothing? Huh? No, that don't work for me. No, I want people, like I told you, if you don't have sense enough to join with me, you don't belong with me. Because the scripture said, watch. I mean, if I ain't doing nothing, if we ain't productive, if we ain't producing anything, we don't need nobody to join with us. They already with us. They ain't doing nothing, we ain't doing nothing. Do you understand? But if we doing something, and you say you are about doing something, then doers join with doers. Talkers follow talkers. Doers follow doers. Do you understand?
One thing I can bear witness with the white man, then wasn't doing nothing with it. And if you come here, take it away from them, and build up a great country like this, I say you ought to been here a long time before you did.
That was just another way of saying that if he was going to do what he did with this country, after taking it away from the Native American, he should have had it in the first place. He should have come here a long time before he did get here. Before they got here. And he could have had it and did this, and he wouldn't have been accused of being a mischief maker. Do you understand? But surely we know the mischief makers. We know those who have agendas that are not totally upright. We made them. We know them. Do you understand? And you know, he's low key about his mischief. That's why in his mythology he calls the devil Loki. Low key, you see, and he don't talk much about what he really doing. And when I say communicate much, I'll put it like that. Because if you watch the deeds and the actions communicate far more than words. But they are more low-keyed. Do you understand? Okay.
Not that I said that I hate the end, but I lost. No, I love the end. But he was not smart enough to keep his home. So he let a stranger take it. Well, we are strangers too.
Now remember, the book says be kind or careful to entertain angels, strangers, it says. For some of you have entertained angels and was not aware of it. Huh? You know, you go to fooling with the messenger of God or an angel in the wrong way, it gets you in trouble. Huh? As many have found out.
And regardless of who he is, we got to have some of the earth. We've got to have a place to live that we can call our own. Yeah, over 30 million of us running from one state to the other. Just like wild animals. Yes, sir. We've got to have a home. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's the game here that take whatever you can find and make you a home. Yes, sir. And then we must get a home. So nobody wants to give you there. So we must find a home. Yes, sir. That we can call our own. Yes, sir. I can't wear a crown with no country. Right. Some of this earth. With the crown and have no country is like a ship out there at sea. It's a ship, but it has no room. Therefore it can't travel. We got to have a home. must bless us with their help of giving us some of this earth.
Yes, sir.
That we can call our own.
Yes, sir. Take your time.
If the Bible is true that the lost was given a home, we thank Allah to bless us and speedily bless us.
Yes, sir.
With a home.
Yes, sir.
We cannot no more go around making mock of each other. Cut it up. We're all brothers and sisters.
That's what I want you to concentrate on. He said we don't have to get up to try to make fun of them just because you have learned the truth, just because you have learned yourself. Just remember, they show you respect after you have learned yourself and have learned them. Show them respect too. So now, to make mock is to make fun. He said we can no longer go around making mock of one another. Cut it out.
Go around making mock of each other. We thank Allah to bless us and speedily bless us. With a home. We cannot no more go around making mock of each other. Cut it up. We're all brothers and sisters.
He said, cut it out. We all brothers and sisters. See how that blew right past everybody? What do you suppose? Prophet Muhammad was a white man. Can white people be Muslims? According to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they can. Master Farad Muhammad's mother was a white woman. And his father made a good Muslim out of her. He converted her. So, on page 111, in Message to the Black Man, I'm going to read it from on page 111. And this is the chapter entitled The Making of Devil. And on page 111, at the bottom of the last paragraph on that page, it says, Allah taught me that the present percentage of dissatisfaction is 98%, near 100%, with the present ruling powers. This 100% dissatisfied will bring about a 100% change. Yaqub did not bring about a 100% change, but near 90%, Allah said. When Yaqub was 6 years old, one day he was sitting down playing with two pieces of steel. he noticed the magnetic power in the steel attracting the other. He looked up at his uncle and said, "Uncle, when I get to be an old man, I'm going to make a people who shall rule you." The uncle said, "What will you make?" You notice, white people, when we was in chattel slavery, they called us boy and girl. But when we got to be old men, they call them uncle and auntie. Huh? This was the truth that Jacob said, that he would make a people that would rule his uncle. Do you understand? And his uncle said, "What will you make? Something to make mischief and cause bloodshed in the land?" And Jacob said, "Nevertheless, uncle, I know that which you do not know. I understand something that you don't understand." And it was at that moment that the boy Jacob first came into the knowledge of just who he was. Born to make trouble, break peace, kill and destroy his own people with a made enemy to the black nation. You remember now, Jacob said he understood something that his uncle didn't understand. And what he understood was the way the immune system works. The immune system only kicks out antigens, just like they tell you that they take a PSA test for your prostate. What they look for is prostate-specific antigens. That's what the PSAs stand for, I was told. And if they find enough of those antigens there, they know there's some kind of problem with the prostate, or those antigens wouldn't be there. We know that there was something out of order in this world, because if there had not been something wrong with it, there wouldn't have been no production of prophets and messengers to address what was going on. Do you understand? And so they are the anti-gens. Do you understand? But first there had to be a gen before there was an anti-gen. Do you understand? The gen was created before, first, of intensely hot fire. Yes, we gave them the natural mind, the natural ruler. And so he took charge and he began to make mischief and shed blood, as he was ordered to do. Go and subdue the earth. If you're going to go and take stuff from people, you a mischief maker. Whoever had it first is the one that it rightly belongs to. So if you got it, you took it. It wasn't that you got it because it was yours. You took it from the one that it belonged to. But if we gonna let you take it, then that was okay. I didn't hear you. Okay. So it says, and it was at that moment that the boy Jacob first came into the knowledge of just who he was. He was born to make trouble, break peace, kill and destroy his own people with a made enemy to the black nation. He learned his future from playing with steel. It is steel and more steel that his made race, the white race, are still playing with. Steel has become the most useful of all metal for the people. What he really saw in playing with the two pieces of steel was the magnetic power of attraction. A man that now I'm adding to what he said there. That's the foundation for what I'm about to say. The magnetism, as most little boys, I'll say this. I know I'm not the only little boy that took magnets out of a speaker and played with nails trying to make them stand up and got a kick out of watching that nail come up and stand up by holding that magnet over it without touching the nail. Huh? Okay. So, you notice the one with, if two pieces of metal, two pieces of iron, if one is a lodestone and the other one is just regular iron, the lodestone can control the natural iron without even touching it. Huh? Well, that's what the white man, he knew he couldn't make no slave out of black people, that them fathers, our forefathers and mothers who built the pyramids and all of them things. He knew he couldn't enslave them because they had knowledge of themselves and they had knowledge of freedom. But he took us and he breeded us, and he took babies and he raised the babies up without knowledge, and then lied to them and gave them a false future, a false past, and false history, and made them not even want to go back to know where black people was, because he made us think that our people were stupid and swinging on trees, and that the only one had any sense was white folks. Do you understand? And just like right now, he's trying to reset his own children and do them the disservice of not teaching them the truth about his true history of what he had done, because he knows that turns them against him. Do you understand? So the devil is trying to continue to go and be the devil and pass that on to another generation, but it ain't going to happen. His time is up. That's why you see them now, more and more of them, young and old, getting Alzheimer's and just minds is going, because they trying to continue when Allah said stop. And Allah already said, whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day shall surely, there's no doubt about it, shall surely be put out of their mind, put to death. Do you understand? You see, he ain't saying nothing, right? Okay, just remember, I stood up here in front of him and spoke to you. I didn't hide away in some closet somewhere and say these things. I said it right out in front of the whole world. And they all shut their mouth at me. Just like you don't want me now. When it's all said and done, I'm going to return that sentiment. So, it says, when you don't want false friendship, do you? Neither do I. Everybody want to be your friend when they think you the only game in town. You the only one, Anyway, steel has become the most useful of all metal for the people. What he really saw in playing with the two pieces of steel was the magnetic power of attraction, the one attracting and drawing the other under its power. You see how you're so ignorant and dumb that the white man looks so smart to you. How smart do he look when I'm up here? How smart do white people look when I'm on the air teaching? It wasn't that he was so smart, it's that you were so dumb. We were dumb. And to a child that is 5, a child that's 9 years old looks real smart. And relative to the 5-year-old, he is smart. Do you understand? So it says, the one attracting and drawing the other under its power. In this, he saw an unlike human being made to attract others, who could, with the knowledge of tricks and lies, rule the original black man. See, the white man is a black man bleached out. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's not the original man. He's from the original man and grafted out to the original man's last stage. Do you understand? We have seen the enemy and he is us. Do you understand? It says, with the knowledge of tricks and lies, he could rule the original black man until that nation could produce one greater and capable of overcoming and making manifest his race of tricks and lies with a nation of truth. That's what I'm doing now. You hear me? I'm making manifest how he deceived and how he does it. Do you understand? It wouldn't do no good to do it. As the book says, as his book says, a man has a right to face his accuser. They've been accusing us and accusing us and accusing us of being an inferior people that don't deserve to be in charge of anything on the earth, and that without them there would be no civilization. That's what they've been accusing us of. But they never gave us the opportunity to speak back and face them. Is that right? If you spoke up, they said, we got an uppity nigger here. Let's teach that nigger a lesson. Is that right? What was the lesson they wanted to teach us? It's called terrorism. Terrorism is when people try to gain or keep dominance over you by frightening you into stagnant behavior, complacency, through fear. Do you understand? Okay. So Yaqub was the founder of unlike attracts and like repels. Though Mr. Yaqub was a member of the black nation, he began school at the age of 4. You notice, our children begin school at the age of 2. It says, he had an unnatural sized head. When he had grown up, the others referred to him as the big head scientist. At the age of 18, he had, I used to, when I was growing up, watch movies of scientists and stuff, especially the sci-fi, and the genius bad guy, they had him with a big head. Remember Parallax in the Green Lantern? Parallax had a big head. Huh? All of that, and Parallax ruled by fear, didn't he? So, but anyway, let's go on. At the age of 18, he had finished all the colleges and universities of his nation and was seen preaching on the streets of Mecca, making converts. He made such impressions on the people that many began following him. He learned from studying the germ of the black man, the life germ of the black man, under the microscope, that there were two people in him, in the black man, and that one was black, the other brown. He said if he could successfully separate the one from the other, he could graft the brown germ into its last stage, which would be white. I need to show you something that you probably didn't know was in the scriptures. I always like to, this is in Isaiah. Over in the book of Isaiah, the 18th chapter. Now, this is, I remember when I was a little boy, I used to skate a lot, you know. And sometimes I would fall, you know, and not just skate, but running, playing football and that kind of thing. I'd run and skin my knee. And right after I skinned it, when that top layer came off, I could see white. You know, they call it the quick or whatever. But it was just white, you know. And when I saw this in the scriptures, I thought it was amazing. This is, it says in the 18th chapter of Isaiah, "Woe to the land shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes, upon the waters, saying, Go ye swift messengers to a nation scattered and peeled." You notice when you peel an apple, it's red on the outside and you peel it, and it's got the white up underneath it. You peel us and you see white up underneath us. And so we call them a nation scattered, go out and have dominion over the earth, scattered and peeled. White people. Do you understand? Oh, he could talk if he want to, but he ain't got nothing to say. It's all there. It's all written. So it says, and so he says, at the age of 18, he had finished all the colleges and universities of his nation and was seen preaching on the streets of Mecca, making converts. He made such impressions on the people that many began following him. He learned from studying the germ of the black man under a microscope that there were two people in him, and that one was black and the other brown. He said if he could successfully separate the one from the other, he could graft the brown germ into its last stage, which would be white. With his wisdom, he could make the white, which he discovered was the weaker of the black germ, which would be unalike. He could make that weaker one rule the black nation for a limited time, until a greater one than Yaqub was born. Now you see why Jesus and all of them said, my Father is greater than I am. Do you understand? It says, this new idea put him to work, finding the necessary converts. Now you found out Yaqub was actually, he made the devil so he could produce a greater black man. Do you understand? And it says, this is where the messenger later said, he said, just because we made a car, that don't make us a car. Well, if we made the devil, then we devil. He said, oh, you got it wrong. He said, you made a car, but are you a car? so Yaqub, he knew what he was doing, but he couldn't tell it. Because if you tell it, it ain't going to work. You remember the end game? You remember Dr. Strange? He knew what the end was going to be, but he couldn't tell Iron Man. Because if he had told him, he said it won't work. What wasn't going to work? Iron Man wasn't going to go commit suicide, killing. So he wasn't going to jeopardize that. If he had told him, he had probably already saw what had happened if he had told him. So he couldn't tell him. Just like telling white people the truth about why we made them, and that at the end we was going to save them. We couldn't tell them that because they wouldn't have hated us. And if they didn't hate us, they wouldn't have tried to destroy us. And if they hadn't tried to destroy us, I wouldn't be here. Do you understand? So it says, this new idea put him to work finding the necessary converts to begin grafting his new race of people. He began by teaching Islam with promises of luxury to those who would believe and follow him. Now you notice, what did the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say that Master Farad Muhammad promised everybody? He promised them money, good homes, and friendship in all walks of life. Promised them luxury. It says, now that's what Mr. Yaqub promised his people. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad wasn't here to build the nation. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was here to lay the foundation for the nation. Do you understand? So it's just like when the foundation of that building out there, and every building we've put up, once you finish the foundation, the material that was used to put the foundation there was not necessarily going to be used in the building. We didn't use that. Do you understand? We got all new lumber. I make all things new. Just listen. This is what's going on now. If you come in my class, I will make you new. You will have a new mind. But no man that have drunk the old wine will immediately take the new, because he think the old is better. That's why I don't have but a few with me that was in the nation when the messenger was here. Because the majority of them didn't think, they thought they was my equal. Simply because they went to school with me. Do you understand? Just because you go to class with somebody, that don't mean you their equal. Them giant redwoods up there is growing out of the same ground that pine trees and stuff grow out of. But them giant redwoods and them pines are not equal. I didn't hear you. All right. Now let's go further. So, it says, as Mr. Yaqub continued to preach for converts, he told people that he would make the others work for them. Sound familiar? That's what white folks want. They want other people to do their work for them. Is that right? And it says, this promise came to pass. Naturally, There are always some people around who would like to have others do their work. But you notice, it's a prophecy that you shall not build and another inhabit. You shall not plant and another eat. In other words, there ain't going to be no more slavery. I'm making sure ain't going to be no more slavery, because the mind of God is going to be all and in all. The mind, the complete mind of God. See, he got half a mind, and Allah made him admit that. And people in this world have been admitting that all the time. I got half a mind to tell you something. I know you do, but I got a whole mind to tell you. So, those are the ones who fell for Mr. Yaqub, the ones who wanted others to do their work. Those are the ones who fell for Mr. Yaqub's teaching 100%. As he made converts in and around the holy city of Mecca, persecutions set in. The authorities became afraid of such powerful teachings, with promises of luxury and making slaves of others. As they began making arrests of those who believed the teachings, the officers would go back and find, to their surprise, others still teaching and believing it. Putting them in jail wasn't doing no good. It was just increasing their numbers. And it says, finally, they arrested Mr. Yaqub. But it only increased the teachings. They kept persecuting and arresting Yaqub's followers until they filled all the jails. The officers finally reported to the king that there was no room to put a prisoner in if arrested, and all of the jails are filled. And when we go out into the streets, this is what they told the king. When we go out into the streets, we find them still teaching. What shall we do with them? The king questioned the officers on just what the teachings were, and of the name of the leader. The officers gave the king the answers to everything. And the king said, this is not the name of that man. On entering the prison, see, you don't get to rule by not knowing the truth, brother. So the king knew they was expecting Yaqub, you see. Just like this world was expecting me. But they was expecting me at a time when they would think not. You know, I mean, it's just that's what's written. At a time when you think not and look not for him, the Son of Man cometh. Do you understand? And so, just like now, you know, the people wasn't expecting me to be here teaching, but I'm here now. So, it says the king, says the officers gave the king the answers to everything, and the king said, this is not the name of that man. On entering the prison, the king was shown Yaqub's cell. And he said, Assalamu alaikum. And the king said, and then he said, so you are Mr. Yaqub? And he said, yes, I am. And the king said, Yaqub, I have come to see if we could work out some agreement that would bring about an end to this trouble. What would you suggest? So Mr. Yaqub told the king, if you give me and my followers everything to start civilization, as you have, and furnish us with money and other necessities of life for 20 years, I will take my followers and we will go from you. The king was pleased with the suggestion or condition made by Yaqub, and agreed to take care of them for 20 years until Yaqub's followers were able to go for themselves. After learning who Mr. Yaqub was, they all were afraid of him. You remember I told you was going to learn to be afraid of me? It says, After learning who Mr. Yaqub was, they all were afraid of him and were glad to make almost any agreement with him and his followers. The history or future of Mr. Yaqub and his people was in the nation's book. My history is in the book of the whole world, the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran. The history of me is in here. And it tells you that the kingdoms of this world that we gave to Satan, that when I got here, they would all become mine. The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ. And he shall reign forever and ever. Huh? All right. So let's go on. It said the history of Yaqub was written in the nation's book by the writers, 23 scientists of our history. The 23 scientists who wrote our history. And it says also our history is in the Bible, written by the 24 scientists, 24 of them. The 24 elders. Elder what? Elder brothers. The least of these, my brethren. Then it says, and it was written 8,400 years before Yaqub's birth. So the government began to make preparations for the exiling of Mr. Yaqub and his followers. The king ordered everyone rounded up who was a believer in Mr. Yaqub. They took them to the seaport and loaded them on ships. After rounding them all up into ships, they numbered 59,999. Yaqub made 60,000. Their ships sailed out to an isle in the Aegean Sea called Pilan. In the Bible, it's called Patmos. Then it says, after they were loaded into the ships, Mr. Yaqub examined each of them to see if they were 100% with him and to see if they were healthy and productive people. If not, he would throw them off. Some were found to be unfit, and overboard they went. And when they arrived at the isle, Mr. Yaqub said to them, see how they, now remember now, Yaqub didn't tell them people about no agreements he had made with the king. Him and the king talked, but he didn't say he went out and told his followers anything. Nobody could know what he knew fully. Because if you know, it's just like it was on a need to know basis. You understand? Okay. So, when they arrived at the island, Mr. Yaqub said to them, see how they, the holy people, have cast us out? See, he started off lying to them, didn't he? See how they have cast us out? He actually wasn't lying because they did cast him out. But he didn't tell them why. He didn't tell them that that's what he had asked for. Do you understand? So it wasn't so much as lying as it was hiding the truth. Do you understand? And so he said, see how the holy people have cast us out? Now, if you will choose me to be your king, I will tell you how to go back and rule them all. Huh? So by making them mad at the ones who they thought had just kicked them out, Yaqub got them all riled up. You understand? So now if you choose me for your king, I'll show you how to go back and rule all of them. And of course, Now, Yaqub was black. These was black people. Wasn't no white people there. These was all black people. And he says, of course, they had already chosen Yaqub to be their king at the very start. But he wanted to etch it in stone. You understand? He wanted to seal it. And by making them think that they was kicked out, and he didn't let them know that that was his agreement, he sealed it then. Then it says, so Yaqub chose doctors, ministers, nurses. Now, what's this about swinging on trees? When they found us. That's the lie they told us, huh? Well, what was doctors doing there? And ministers and nurses and all of these people. Man, we've been had civilization. We had civilizations far greater than this. And they failed because they were imperfect. They were just natural. Now, it says, Yaqub chose doctors, ministers, nurses, and a cremator for his top laborers. He called these laborers together and told them his plan for making a new people. He never tell nobody why. Do you understand? They thought it was just so they could go back and pay them people back for kicking them out. Do you understand? And that's all they needed to know. So he called these laborers together and told them his plan for making a new people who would rule for 6,000 years. Remember the Maker said, 6 days shall you labor and do all your work? 6,000 years, a day with the Lord is as 1,000 years. He called the doctor first and said, Doctor, let all the people come to you who want to marry. And if there come to you 2 real black ones, take a needle and get a little of their blood and go into your room and pretend to be examining them. Be examining the blood. And to see whether their blood would mix. Then come and tell them that they will each have to find another mate because their blood does not mix. See, Yaqub taught them how to lie, brother. Do you understand? And was he really lying? If they don't get married, their blood ain't gonna make sense. so I mean, you know, he was a master of subtlety. Then it says, it was the aim of Yaqub to get rid of the black, and he did. Give them a certificate to take to the minister, warning the minister against marrying the couple because their blood does not mix. What if Yaqub hadn't did that? Then he never could have grafted his people, because when people fall in love with each other, what they call love with each other, they would have been mixing wrong for what he wanted to do. Do you understand? So he had to make sure he mixed lighter and lighter people together. Do you understand? Because of what he was after. But how was he going to do that? He couldn't tell them the truth. That he was trying to get rid of their black color. He had to make them think that he had another agenda, which was to teach them how to go back and rule over them black people who had kicked them out. Do you understand? So the more I've studied, the more I grow, the more I realize how wise Yaqub was to bring about what he did. Do you understand? And then it says, When there comes to you 2 brown ones, take a pretended blood test of them, but give them a certificate saying that they are eligible to marry. You understand? Mr. Yaqub's charge to his laborers was very strict. Death if one disobeyed him. Why death? Yaqub was God. What is sin? Disobedience to God. And the wages of sin is death. You see? And so Yaqub wasn't going to play games, because Yaqub didn't start this. He finished it. Mr. Shabazz started it. Approximately 41,200 years before Yaqub was born. Approximately. Well, I'll say 41,600 years before Yaqub was born. You know, and Yaqub, he came to finish what Mr. Shabazz started. Now, I didn't do the math on that properly, but I can do it, but I ain't got time right now. And so Yaqub, he said they didn't know, and I hear the messengers talking again. He said they didn't know what Yaqub had in mind until they were given their labor to do. See, Yaqub wasn't going to tell nobody all of his plans. Remember, in the Holy Quran, it says when Yaqub, that's who the Lord was at that time, said to the angels, I am going to place a ruler in the earth. They said, wilt thou place in it such as make mischief in it and shed blood in it while we celebrate your praise and extol your holiness? He said, surely I know what you know not. And they didn't question him no further. So he didn't tell nobody what he had really, why he was doing what he was doing. And so it says, so he made his laborers, he says, they didn't know what Yaqub had in mind until they were given their labor to do. Kind of like an assembly line. Huh? That's one of the things that an assembly line do. You just put this part on. You don't know what it's going on down the line and get other things put on it. Is that right? So Yaqub, he started the assembly line. And so he said, he made his laborers from the chief to the least liars. You understand? Even if they didn't realize this, but they was making. But it's a way to make people liars without them realizing that you've made them. Now, just like this foolishness about this election thing, these people are just liars that. They don't consider it lying. They consider it, they call it something else. You know, stuck a feather in his hat and called it something else. Yeah, alternative facts and all of this kind of stuff. You know, when you know there's no such thing as alternative facts. The only alternative to facts is lies, is fiction. What is the alternative to light? Darkness. You see? I'm just showing you. Anyway. Oh, you're gonna pay for it. Don't you worry. I'm just making sure that none of you have an excuse. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they would not have been blamable. But now they have no cloak. So he made his laborers from the chief to the least liars. The doctor lied about the blood of the 2 black people who wanted to marry, that it did not mix. The brown and black could not be married, brown only. The doctors of the doctors of today hold the same position over the people. You go to them to get a blood test to see if you are fit to be married. But you notice now today, that's just a formality. You can do it or you don't have to. But anyway, today they say it is done to see if there are any contagious germs in the blood. I wish that they would enforce such a law today. Keep the white from mixing with black. Just the opposite. Perhaps we could remain black and not be disgraced by a mixture of all colors. In the days of Yaqub's grafting of the present white race, a new and unlike race among the black nation for 600 years, his law was that they should not allow the birth of a black baby in their family, but the white devil should mix their blood with the black nation in order to help destroy black. But they should not allow the black to mix with their blood. His aim was to kill and destroy the black nation. He ordered the nurses to kill all black babies that were born among his people by pricking the brains with a sharp needle as soon as the black child's head is out of the mother. If the mother is alert and watching the nurse, then the nurse would lie and fool the mother to get possession of the child, to murder it, by saying that she, the mother, gave birth to an angel child, and that she, the nurse, would like to take the baby to heaven, so when the mother dies, she would have a room with her child in heaven, for her baby was an angel. Well, all angels is black people. The last one was Muhammad, and he was a white man. The angels are messengers of God, and all of the messengers of God was us. Even the white man is us. Do you understand? So they played with words, but they didn't know what they were saying. It says, this is the beginning of the first lie or liar. He was a liar from the beginning. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth. He murdered all the little black babies. And he came about through murder. Then it says, and it was so that the nurse, but remember now, it wasn't him doing it. It was us. It was so that the nurse would take the black baby away on this falsehood, on this false claim, that they were taking the poor black baby to heaven, as Yaqub had taught them. They would feed it to wild beasts, and if they did not have a wild beast to feed the black babies to, Yaqub told the nurses to give the baby to the cremator to burn it. Mr. Yaqub warned the laborers, from the doctor down to the cremator, to this cremator, that if any one of them failed to carry out his orders, off go their heads. When there was a birth of a brown baby, the nurse would come and make much ado over it, and would tell the mother that she had given birth to a holy child, and that she would nurse it for the next 6 weeks for her child was going to be a great man. That is, when it was a boy baby. After the first 200 years, Mr. Yaqub had done away with the black babies, and all were brown. After another 200 years, he had all yellow or red. Now you see, there's not before. We call them yellow or red, but it's the same people. Do you understand? It says they were all yellow or red people, which was 400 years after being on Pilan. Another 200 years, which brings us to the 600 year, Mr. Yaqub had an all pale white race of people on this island. And of course, Mr. Yaqub lived but 150 years. He didn't live to see a white man. But he didn't have to. He knew what was going to happen. Do you understand? And of course, Mr. Yaqub didn't live but 150 years. But his ideas continued in practice. He gave his people guidance in the form of literature. What they should do and how to do it, how to rule the black nation. He said to them, now look, when you become unalike, look at the words, when you become unalike. What is a white man? He is what the black man became after grafting. Do you understand? So he said, when you become unalike white, you may return to the Holy Land. Unalike attracts. Do you understand? So black people had never seen a white man before. Remember, they was out on the island. And wasn't nobody going to go visit them exiles. So they didn't pay no attention. They was glad to be rid of them black people that was giving them so much trouble. And so when they saw white people, they had never seen no white people. So that naturally attracted their attention. And he said, when you become unalike white, you may return to the Holy Land and people from whom you were exiled. The Yaqub made devils were really pale white with really blue eyes, which we think are the ugliest of colors for a human eye. They were called Caucasian, which means, according to some of the Arab scholars, one whose evil effect is not confined to one's self alone, but affects others. Well, that's the definition of devil. But Caucasian means made Asian. Caucasian. Do you understand? Then it says, you know, just like you hear the word concoct. Concoct is another word of saying you making something. You made this thing. Well, Asian is earthman or someone of the earth. Caucasian, made Asian. Do you understand? Okay. Then it says, there was no good taught to them while on the island by teaching the nurses to kill the black baby and save the brown baby, so as to graft the white out of it. By lying to the black mother of the baby, this lie was born into the very nature of the white baby. The very knowledge of that baby. And murder for the black people also was born in them, or made by nature a liar and a murderer. And he said, and he still lie today about black and white people. You know, about where we come from and all that, and where he come from. He never told the truth about nothing. Except when he called each other the devil. Well, he told the truth about that, but he said it, and he got a kick out of saying it right in front of you, and you didn't believe it, and you didn't hear him. You understand? He don't hardly say that no more. He don't hardly use the term, well, speak of the devil. What's up, bub? And that kind of thing. He don't talk like that no more. I don't care if he don't. I don't need him to tell me who he is now. I know who he is. And I know who you are who following him. And I know what's going to happen to both of you if you don't change. It says, the black nation is only fooling themselves to take the Caucasian race for other than liars and murderers. And he said, as long as he can fool you, he can rule. I'm doing him a favor by telling on him. Because that tells him his time to do that is up. Now he has a decision that he has to make. You know that song that Michael McDonald wrote? Him and Kenny Loggins? There have been times in my life I've been wondering why. Still somehow I believe we'd always survive. But now I'm not so sure. Huh? Why you ain't so sure now? Because the Lord has come. And if you don't change, you ain't going to survive. So, he says, you can come in and pull up a chair. I don't care. Oh, okay. And it says, the black nation is only fooling themselves to take the Caucasian for something other than devils. He says, this is what Jesus learned of their history before he gave up his work of trying to convert the Jews or white race to the religion of Islam. Remember, Jesus flat out told them, you of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. Huh? They fell out with him from then on. Do you understand? You don't see no Jew talk about Jesus. he don't want to hear nothing about Jesus. Because Jesus pulled the cover off of him 2,000 years before the time. And so even the devils told him, oh, you come here to torment us before the time? Huh? And so, but they all thought, and we had to let them think, that they was going to be destroyed at the end of 6,000 years. If we hadn't let them think that, can't tell them we're going to save you at the end and take that curse off of you. If we tell them that, then they'll just say, well, I'll do this, but they'll have mercy on us. And if they'd have had mercy on us, that would have been Islam. That would have been righteousness. And then I wouldn't be here. Do you understand? So, to those that believe, in God and the prophecies, all things that happen work towards the glory or understanding of God. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Then it says, this is what Jesus learned of their history before he gave up his work of trying to convert the Jews or white race to the religion of Islam. And the same knowledge of them was given to Muhammad by the imams or scientists of Mecca. That is why the war of the Muslims against them came to a stop. He said Muhammad was told that he could not reform the devils, and that the race had 1,400 more years to live. And remember, Muhammad even put in his hadiths, he said, 3 generations after me will no longer be of me. Huh? You know, so Muhammad's presence among them was a respite, a temporary pause in their evil. Do you understand? But it wasn't going to last because he couldn't reform them. It wasn't time. The one to reform them is the one who would come that would be able to shut their mouths. Do you understand? If I wasn't that one, they'd be talking back to me. They'd be trying to come in here and argue with me. That's why Allah told me. He knew they was going to argue. Otherwise, he wouldn't say that the kings of the earth shall shut their mouths at him. Well, they obviously had them open. But now, they have to shut them. Why? Because I have come with the truth. The truth has come. And falsehood must vanish. It's good to see y'all. No, it's okay. I'll get it later. Don't worry about it. So, it's written. It says, and the same knowledge of them was given to Muhammad by the imams or the scientists of Mecca. That is why the war of the Muslims against them came to a stop. Muhammad was told that he could not reform the devils and that the race had 1,400 more years to live. When Jesus was here, they had 2,000 more years to live. Muhammad came 600 years later. That's why the Holy Quran's number is 600. And the Bible have 66 books in it. And so in the volume of the Quran in the Holy Bible was the prophecies of my coming. So my number is 666. Do you understand? Then it says, the only way to make righteous people, Muslims out of them, was to graft them back into the black nation. This grieved Muhammad, so much so that it caused him heart trouble until his death at age 62 and 1/2 years. The old scientists used to laugh at Muhammad for thinking that he could convert them, the white race or devils, to Islam. This hurt his heart. Mr. Yaqub taught his maid devils on Pilan. He said that when you go back to the holy black people, the holy black nation, rent a room in their homes. Teach your wives to go out the next morning around the neighbors of the people and tell that you heard her talking about them last night. When you have gotten them fighting and killing each other, then ask them to let you help settle their disputes and restore peace among them. If they agree, then you will be able to rule them both. This method the white race practices on the black nation the world over. That he said, she said stuff. And they upset their peace by putting one against the other. And then rule them after dividing them. This is the reason why the American so-called Negroes can never agree on unity among themselves, which would put them on top overnight. The devils keep them divided by paid informants informers from among themselves. They keep such fools among us. But the real truth of the devils sometimes converts the informers and brings them over to us as true believers. We don't bother about killing them, as I am not teaching that which I want to be kept a secret, but that which the world has not known and should know. Now, I'm standing up here living proof that he wasn't teaching something that he wanted to be kept secret. Because what? You sit right in your living room at home on your telephone or on your internet and hear everything that he was teaching and hear me verifying that it was the truth. Huh? All right. Where's all them people who was saying it wasn't the truth? The kings of the earth shall shut their mouths at him. You know what the kings of the earth mean? It means all human beings. We are the kings of the earth. There's not a human being on this earth that has to submit to any animal. But all animals have to submit to all human beings. Do you understand? We're the kings of the earth. So all praises due to Allah. And so it says, as I am, after Yaqub's devils were among the holy people of Islam, the black nation, for 6 months, they had our people at war with each other. Oh, what a tangled web we weaved when we first practiced to deceive. You remember that? Yeah. The holy people were unable to understand just why they could not get along in peace with each other until they took the matter to the king. The king told the holy people of the black nation that the trouble they were having was caused by the white devils in their midst, and that there would be no peace among them until they drove these white made devils from among them. The holy people prepared to drive the devils out from among them. The king said, "Gather every one of the devils up and strip them of our costume. Put an apron on them to hide their nakedness. Take our literature from them and take them by way of the desert. Send a caravan armed with rifles to keep the devils going westward. Don't allow one of them to turn back. And if they are lucky enough to get across the Arabian desert, let them go into the hills of West Asia, the place they now call Europe." Remember, in Masonics, they have a ritual of talking about walking the burning sand, you see, with nothing but an apron, with an apron on. They don't strip, I don't think, I ain't never did it, but they put an apron around them. And you see some Masons wearing aprons, They don't even know why they're doing it. But, anyway, Yaqub's made devils were driven out of paradise into the hills of West Asia, Europe, and stripped of everything but the language. Well, you can't take people's language from them because once they speak it, that's that. You understand? They walked across that hot, sandy desert into the land where long years of both trouble and joy awaited them. But they finally made it. Not all. Many died in the desert. Once there, they were roped in to keep them out of paradise, to make sure. And to make sure the Muslims who lived along the borders of East and West Asia were ordered to patrol the border to keep Yaqub's devils in West Asia, now called Europe, so that the original black nation, black men, could live in peace, and that the devils could be alone to themselves to do as they pleased, as long as they didn't try crossing the east border. The soldiers patrolled the border armed with swords to prevent the devils from crossing. This went on for 2,000 years after that time, and after that time Moses was born, the man whom Allah would send to these exiled devils to bring them again into the light of civilization, the light of understanding, after they had been actually made into what we needed them to be, which was closer to beast than to man. Do you understand? Because we needed a devil. Make no mistake, we needed the devil to complete our mind, our new mind. We needed something totally evil that could only be overcome by something that totally good. Do you understand? And so even that wasn't something that was just done for punishment. It was done to complete the making of them. As it said, he was marched across the burning sand. The jinn was now the Gentile, hardened by fire. Do you understand? Okay. Then it says, Moses, it says, Moses was born, the man whom Allah would send to these exiled devils to bring them again into the light of civilization. Now before, I went over, but I told you I had quite a bit to share with you today. So we're going to keep going a minute. It says, before we take up this first 2,000 years of the devils exiled on our planet, let us not lose sight of what and how they were made, and of the God who made them, Mr. Yaqub. And it says, since we have learned that Mr. Yaqub was an original man, black, the ignorant of our people may say, if Yaqub was a black man and the father of the devils, then he was a devil. That is like one saying the horse is as much a mule as the mule. No, don't work like that. So it says, or that an orange or lemon is as much grapefruit as the grapefruit. And because the grapefruit is grafted from the orange and the lemon. They are not alike because the grafted is no longer original. So just what have we learned, or rather, or learning from this divine revelation of our enemies, the devils? Answer, we are learning the truth, which has been kept a secret for 6,000 years concerning the white race, who have deceived us. We learn what is meant by the Bible's symbolic teachings, that they were made from dust. And this only tends to convey the idea that they were created from nothing, which means the low and humble origin of such creation. Well, when we made them from the lower character of black people, but the mind that we created in them comes from dust, from the creation and studying what grew up out of dust. Do you understand? And what's hidden in dust. And so it says, again, we learn who the Bible, Genesis 1:26, is referring to in the saying, let us make man. This us was 59,999 black men and women, making or grafting them into the likeness or image of the original man. Not that they are the same, but have the ways of a human being. They are referred to as mankind. Not the real original man, but a being made like the original in the sense of human beings. In other words, he is a kind of man that you can find in the original man. Do you understand? Just like the Chinese, the Japanese, they are all kinds of men that you can find in us. Huh? So, the Holy Quran throws a great light on the truth of the creation of this pale white race of devils. O mankind, surely we have created you from a male and a female. Yes. This makes it, God made all nations of men from the black man's blood. Do you understand? See, I just, This makes it very easy to understand to whom it is referring. What mankind? Surely we created man from sperm mixed with ovum to try him. So we have made him hearing and seeing. To try him at what? Ruling us until we can produce one that will overcome and not only save us, but save him as well as us from all of this sinful and wicked behavior. Do you understand? You can't save a man from his sin, because when you save someone from their sin, you're not actually saving them from what they are doing. You are saving them from the mind that's instructing them to do that. So you got to change their mind. If you can't change his mind, you can't change his deeds. But when a man's mind is changed, then the whole man is changed. Do you understand? Okay. Inasmuch as these chapters have a further reference to the spiritual creation of the last messenger, it is equally true that they refer to the physical creation of the white race. Yes, that's verified in the book that God made both Adams, and so it is written. The first Adam was made a living soul, the last Adam a quickening spirit. You notice, one of the reasons why I'm called a quickening spirit is because I'm filled with leaven. I'm filled with yeast that once I put it in you, it expands your mind. It quickens your mind. Just like yeast quickens dough. Do you understand? And so I'm the Lord from heaven. So it's much that I could share with you, but it's time to stop. I'm going to let some of you that, if I left anybody hanging on anything, I'll let you question me now. But I want to say this to white people. I know now, and I truly do know now, that it's not your fault. You're not to blame for everything that have been happening on this earth. And as the scripture says, it repented the Lord God that he had made man on earth. In other words, he felt sorry that he had did it. And so I owe you an apology for what had to be done, and we had to do that. And I apologize for that. But it was no way around it. It's just like in order to produce a vaccine to a virus that's killing us, that's killing people. The scientists had to culture the vaccine. They had to culture the virus. So we made a culture a corrupt culture and kept it around here. As the book says, this world was kept in store, reserved unto fire, against the day of judgment and the perdition of ungodly men. People who would choose evil over good, once the two are presented. It's not like you don't know good now, and because you don't know evil, I'm showing you evil and good. If you want to choose to stay a devil, that ain't my fault. That ain't our fault. That's your fault now. Just like you who want to choose to stay a nigger. If you want to be a nigger, well, you're going to go down with the devil who made you that. Because all nigger is another word for a grafted devil. Your evil ain't confined to yourself either. Everywhere you go, you tear up stuff, you nasty, you got a nasty attitude, a nasty mouth, just like the devil who made you, just like that redneck who made you. Now I'm offering you a chance. Correct yourself. You can be better than that, unless you just choose not to. There's an old saying, when you know better, which means you understand better, you have no excuse not to do better. Ignorance is no excuse now. Remember, the messenger told you that I've learned that I can remove Satan at once. He said, but I'm offering you a chance. Only he said he has learned that he is just one and he can remove Satan at once. But he's offering us a chance. And he said, I warn you to accept it and glorify him. Okay. No, suit yourself. This offer ain't gonna go forever now. Mercy is everlasting, but grace ain't. Grace by nature is a time limit. Huh? You know, eventually, justice got to come through the door. So, how many of you all don't believe that I'm the Son of Man? I want to hear the ones who disbelieve. Allah told me, he said, invite to the way of thy Lord and argue with them in the best manner. What is that? Where's that at in the Holy Quran? In chapter 16. In chapter 16 of the Holy Quran, what verse? It says, call to the way of thy Lord. Call to the understanding of thy Lord, of the truth. The truth is my Lord. The messenger told you. I'll let you hear him say it. You heard him say that no more than we go around making mock of one another. He said, cut it out. Didn't he? Do you hear me stand up here making mockery and fun of white people? I acknowledge that we are brothers and sisters. The enemy that we see as our enemy, his flesh came from our flesh. We are flesh of each other's flesh and bone of each other's bone. There's no getting around that. Even his scientist, Gregor Mendel, he said white skin is recessive. It comes out of dark-skinned people. And dark skin is dominant. The blue eye is recessive. And the brown eye or black eye is dominant. I look in the mirror sometime. I see that gray ring around my eye as I get older. I used to see that in my uncle's eyes and stuff. That bluish gray ring around there. It's more than, it's more proof. If you want proof of who was first and who came last, it's not no secret. Not no more. So, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he told everybody. First, I'll let you hear this one more time.
We cannot no more go around making mock of each other. Cut it up. We're all brothers and sisters.
So no more making fun and making mockery of each other. Allah didn't raise us up to make mockery of people. We was mocked. We didn't like it. Then why should we do that to other people? It would only show stupidity. Now, the messenger said a true father loves his family regardless to how they act. And that's true. That's why a true father corrects his family. Love is not something that is unconditional. In other words, whatever you do is okay with me. No, it ain't. Even though I love you, I will tell you to get away from me. If you want to do other than what Allah said do, you can't hang with me. It ain't got nothing to do with whether I love you or not. It has to do with I love Allah more. And I definitely love you far more than you love me. Because I ain't trying to convince you to do wrong. But you trying to convince me to go along with wrong. Which tells me you don't have no love for me. To try to get me to go along with you to do something that's wrong. People that love you want to help you Be the best that you can be. That's love. Nobody who try to pull you down or drag you through the mud love you. Hell, I'll go through the mud by myself. I ain't gonna drag you there with me. Anyway, you don't know nothing about no love.
We are here to build the world with truth. Not with falsehood, but with truth. The black man was made out of truth. He wasn't made out of falsehood. He was created from truth. Because his God was truth. Making him truth for us all. But
that's what I was telling you. So the Holy Quran says, call to the way of thy Lord. Well, that's talking to me. My Lord is the truth. I call you to the way or the understanding of the truth. With wisdom. What is wisdom? With the instruction, with the scriptures. The scriptures is for the instruction in righteousness, because we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery. Call to the way of thy Lord with wisdom, with the scriptures, and goodly exhortation. Proper presentation and a proper way of presenting it. Do you understand? With the proper language too. And argue with them in the best manner. I start off our classes with, is there anyone that have an argument or a question or a disagreement that they want to bring to me? Who else does that? Argue with them in the best manner. What is the best manner? In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I, Allah, am the best knower. Then the best manner to argue with people is with the knowledge or the words of the best knower. Allah told me, he said, son of man, you go. Take the book, eat it up. Now go, get thee to the house of Israel and speak with my words. Argue with them in the best manner. It says, surely thy Lord knows best him who strays from his path, and he knows best those who go aright. You tell me something that the word of God don't agree with, I know you lying. I know you done left the path. You done left the path of light. You deviating. Coming in here talking to me like you some equal of mine. According to Allah, I ain't got no equal. He told the angels to bow down. Do that sound like they thought they was my equal? How many of y'all think you my equal? Unmute your phone, man. Own up to it. See? You ain't my equal, because if you ask me, do I think I'm your equal, I'll tell you yes and more. Even the things that you know that I don't know, I don't have to wait on you to teach it to me. I could go to the school or go to the books that you got it from and get it. You can't go to the book that I go to and get what I got. If I don't give it to you, you don't have it. Now, see how before they can argue, I shut them up. I'm the only man on earth that can claim he ain't got no equal. So we are here with the truth, and we are thankful to Allah for all of you who have helped me and who are helping me. I thank Allah for you, because I recognize that the help that Allah gives me is Him. Allah is helping me. You who are helping me, Allah is with you to help me. So you can't say Allah ain't with you. How many times you done been trying to do something and didn't know how, and then it came to you? That's the way it was the same with me. I stand up here sometime, I don't know what the scripture be talking about, and it just come to me. I got sense enough to know it ain't because I'm enchanted. It's because Allah is here helping me. Do you understand? Let me show you something, tell you something else. Now this is me. This material here. You notice you can walk a path. And pretty soon the path that you walked is readily seen. Even if it's in concrete. The material there is like memory. It memorizes where you've been walking. See, he went this way. do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's memory. You got some mattresses called memory foam. And you lay on them, and they give where they used to you giving. Do you understand? But material is something, man. This material that we made out of has been here since forever. This matter. Each of us, all of us that's here. The material that we are made out of is everlasting. When we do what we call die, that material ain't gone nowhere. That material gonna be here. And it will be used again and again and again and again and again. Now, I mean, we don't know how memory really works. But I know one thing, it's a lot of things I know that I just don't know why I know them. But I know them. But this material been around here for a long time. So, what can I say? So I think I think of things all of the time. There's just the thoughts that I have. I know that ain't nobody ever had them. That within itself, it tells you that something done happened here that is marvelous. Because Solomon, he said, there is nothing new under the sun. That which has been will be. And that which will be is that which has already been. All is vanity and vexation of the spirit. Yet, the scripture said that Queen of the South came from the utmost parts of the earth just to hear Solomon's wisdom. And a greater one than Solomon is here. For this one said, behold, I make all things new. You can't make all things new if you don't have a new mind. The Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, came not to be taught, but to teach. You're not teaching if you're just telling people what they already knew. You know why my class is so much fun to you? It's because it's always got you thinking about new things. That's why I be standing here laughing all the time, because I'm always thinking up new things. And it's just wonderful. The universe is now an exciting place to live instead of a redundant place to live. So, respect people. Treat every human being like family. You understand? Be kind. I was thinking, I mean, how refreshing it is to have a president of the United States that you don't have to worry about what he's doing. You better learn to be thankful for what you have, or you're going to lose it. That's how people lose what they have. They don't know the value of it until they lose it. It's like when President Obama was in office. If you could have got past his color, you would have really realized that you had been blessed with someone who truly cared for your country. What can I say? You didn't feel the blessing of Jesus being here. You didn't feel the blessing of, but you wasn't supposed to feel it back then. But now you don't have no excuse, because now you know the whole truth about your making, about why you the devil and all of that kind of thing. And now you know that ain't nobody holding that against you. Now you can change. And I'm presenting you with the evidence and the material knowledge that will change you. It ain't my fault if you too trifling to accept it. And when you turn me down, I hate you. And I'm not going to shed one tear when you are gone. I will rejoice. Because you're not going to be gone because you were tricked. You're going to be gone because you knew the truth, you heard the truth, you saw the truth, and you rejected the truth. Am I clear? All right. Is there anybody that's listening to me, and you have been here listening to me for the past hour, 4 hours, 5 hours? What have I said that you don't believe is the truth? What? You better say something. Okay. What do you find wrong with anything that I have taught? All right. Then I'm through with it. May Allah bless us, keep us safe, and in our right minds. I think I will let me see here. I want to close. Let's see here. See if I can find it. I know we off the air up in Michigan, right? Sir? What you mean a bunch of stuff?
This is the transformation from a Satan into God. The word is anthropomorphism.
No, the word is that we shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. I don't need you to come behind me to try to tell me what that means. Allah already said what it means. So, you know, you trying to open up you a class. Well, what you do, you give us your classroom number, and people that want to go there and listen to you, they will. Just tell him to put his website there that he wants people to go to. Anybody that's got something they think people should hear, you know, you give it your website, and I'll tell the people to go to it that want to go to it. Because I don't want to hear it. I don't need you to teach me nothing. I'm trying to figure out if you a teacher, what you doing over in my class? I'm for the past 5 hours, I've been teaching and asking people that won't follow me to come in and tell people why they don't submit and follow me. You ain't opened your mouth. You still ain't opened your mouth. You just sitting there picking at some keys. You know. That's sad. But what can you say? What can you say? Just that's why the world is in the shape it's in. People like you. You don't have nothing to offer people but disrespect. So be careful, because your next stop is the lake of fire. Let's see here. Now this song here kind of sums up what time it is. And I would advise all of you to pay attention to the words in it. Because that is if it come up. It might not even come up. But we'll see. Oh, was that all he had? Was that all he was talking about?
After he said that, then he said, Yaqub was Egypt,
I don't need you to tell me who Yaqub was. The messenger, I just read to the people what the messenger said about Yaqub. You know, you kind of dense, ain't you? I bet you he one of them people that didn't get vaccinated. And it's starting to show too.
There have been times in my life I've been wondering why. Still somehow I believe we'd always survive. Now I'm not so sure you're waiting to give one good reason to try. What more can I say? What's left to provide? You say maybe it's over, only if you want it to be. Are you gonna wait for a sign, a miracle? Stand up and fight. This is it. Make no mistake where you are. Your back's to the corner. Don't be a fool anymore. The waiting is over. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. No time for wondering why. It's here. The moment is now, about to decide. Let them believe them behind, but keep making hearing in your heart. And know whatever good that you do, I'm gonna be by your side. You say maybe it's over, like you don't want it to be. So what's in your life? Here's your miracle. Stand up and fight. This is it. Make no mistake where you are. Won't go no further until it's over and done. No one can tell you. It's not up to me this time. There comes a day every night. Make no mistake where you are. You're going no further until it's over. One way or another. No one can tell what the future holds. No one can tell what the future holds. No one can tell what the future holds.
No more. Can't nobody tell what the future holds now. That's why it's written. That's what all this was for. To create an unlimited future. Huh? That's what time it is. So be thankful. And I'm going to tell you, Edward, if you want to come in our class, you come in. If you want to discuss something that I teach, you come in and discuss it. But if you want to teach something, you go get your own class. And stop trying to have conversations with the other classmates. When I'm teaching, I don't want nobody in here –, trying to get people's attention away from what I'm teaching. What is it?
Still in Titus. It says he's hard.
You know what they say about a hard head? It make a soft ass. I put it in language that I think you understand. Now, if you want to play with me, you keep trying to play with me. I'm not here to play with you. Now, you want to play, you go find you a toy. But don't come in here. You're gonna become an example. All right. Anything else? Yes. What is it? May wa alaikum ala salam.
Was that you singing the song?
Yes, ma'am.
That's so good. Thank you.
I hope y'all was listening to the words of it. Whether you realize it or not, this is the end of the world. Okay? So I'm gonna, what is it? What?
He says you already said that a number of times.
Let's see, what did they tell Noah? Noah, you have been disputing with us, prolonged dispute. Bring on us that which you threaten us with. You sure you want to go down that road with me, Edward? I know you're scared to talk to me, that's why you typing, but typing ain't gonna help nothing when I get angry with you. You can't hide from me. The air that I'm breathing is the same air you breathing. And these creatures know exactly where to find you.
He says no vaccine.
I know. Well, that's so, I just let you go on and suffer the chastisement from whence you perceive not, but everybody else see it on you. So I'm gonna cut that conversation short right now. Okay? It's already on you, so ain't no sense in me making it worse. So brothers and sisters, I'm going to let that do for now. May Allah bless us all who believe in His word and are submitting ones. May He bless us all and keep us safe and in our right minds. May Allah's Salam Alaikum.